How can we use social media to stop a genocide? In particular, we're talking about the genocide here of the Rohingya. It's a question that's been put to me a number of times over the past week, and I'm really pleased to see more people stepping forward and saying, I want to help, what can I do to help? So I thought I'd just make this short video blog to give some people some ideas and to encourage people to step forward. Hopefully, if we get organised, we can actually make a difference here. Now, I just want to mention a little bit about the use of the word genocide, because what we're talking about here is not an uprising, not a group of people that are clashing or having fights with another. The Rohingya are completely defenceless people. They are unarmed and they are being picked off one by the Rakhine and authorities and killed, starved and removed from the country. So that is what we're trying to stop, and these people don't have a voice. They don't have access to social media apart from just a few people. So the idea is that we use social media to take those couple of voices and to let everybody hear what's happening. I believe genocide is such a huge problem, it needs a huge response. And for us to stop this, what we need is to see the entire world, people from all around the world saying this is wrong and it needs to stop. What we need to be doing is pressuring all of our governments to get onto the Burmese authorities to stop this, all of our media to report this, and we need to be encouraging all our NGOs to do what they can to act and try and to intervene. But it's very difficult, because if something is not main news headlines, the first headlines you hear on the news, in the mainstream media, for a number of consecutive days, the message just isn't heard. There's so much going on that it gets lost. And who decides what's going to be main headlines? And we don't know whether it's a conspiracy, why is this not main headlines? Or is it the fact that genocide is an ongoing process? It's not like suddenly it happens one day. There are events that are happening, but it's an ongoing process. It's not being reported like it should. It should be mainstream headlines. It's not. We're not sure why. If there was a monsoon or something, then, it would be all over the news and NGOs would be rushing over there. Everybody would be trying to help. Case of genocide, this is difficult, and unfortunately there's no precedent for us to say, well, social media was used against this genocide and it stopped it. This is uncharted territory. But what we're trying to do is create and be the media, the people, through social media. So even though this story is not main news headlines, we want to disseminate this information and make connections and try and encourage people to act. That's the objective. Now, an example of how difficult it is for us to get action, because this is not mainstream news, would be one instance. I've contacted a number of times the Disasters Emergency Committee in the UK, DEC, and we thought it would be great if they could run a campaign for the Rohingya to gather aid for them, because they're in such desperate need, and it would also draw attention to the cause at the same time. But the problem is, the way that organisation works is they only show stories, they only run campaigns for those topics that are of major public concern. And one way to judge whether something is major public concern is whether something has run as mainstream news headlines for a number of consecutive days. So, it's a catch-22 situation which we're trying to overcome. But you can all help. And I wouldn't be doing this if I thought this was a hopeless situation, even though it's overwhelming at times. There are so many people dying, and from every aspect, they're being starved in their homes, they're being starved in the camps, they're being tortured, they're being raped, they're being driven to sea, they're drowning. It's day after day of terrible, terrible news. The atrocities are happening so quickly I can't even read them all, never mind report them all in a day. So we do need everybody's help on this. And so I'm just going to run through some ways that everybody can help, and some projects that we've got in the pipeline. I say we, it's just a loose group of activists who are talking and we're thinking, shall we do this, shall we try that? And we need your help. So you're just running through them, tweeting, first of all. Obviously, we want you to retweet topics on the Rohingya. You should all now be following Ongon Sitwe, the only Rohingya on the ground, tweeting daily updates, my friend. And and helping distribute his tweets. But don't just retweet, because retweets don't go very far. If you're in somebody's list and you retweet something, that retweet doesn't go into their list. Now I follow so many people, I put them into lists, so that's really how I follow the people I'm following, as well as I follow the Rohingya hashtag. But I use lists, so if people retweet something, I don't get to see that unless I go to their Twitter stream and actually look down their stream, then I will see it. So retweets don't go very far. So often, do retweet, but also at times, if it's something important, send out your own tweet with that information. I invite anybody to cut and paste my tweets. I'm not fussy, I'm not here to promote me, I'm here to promote the Rohingya, and what I want to see is the distribution of that information. So if anybody wants to cut and paste my tweets, they're welcome to. If anybody can speak a foreign language, please take my important tweets and translate them to other languages. Do this when you see important information on the Rohingya, and it will really, really help. And then what you can also do is take tweets and send them to people that should know about it. And the types of people that you could send this information to, tweet it to, is the media, journalists, celebrities. If we can have a few celebrities on this case, it would really, really help these people trying to get, distribute this information. Send things to government organisations as well as NGOs. When you see a story you think somebody should know about it, send it to them and ask people to act. Politicians, of course, your members of parliament, even if you hate them, talk to them, send them the information. So that's one way that everybody can help without, you don't have to contact me, just do it. And if I see somebody tweeting on the Rohingya tag, chances are I'm going to be following you, and, I'll probably communicate with you over time. But there are other things that we encourage people to get involved with. In addition to tweets, of course, post it to Facebook. I'm not very active on Facebook. I don't have a lot of time. So I really encourage people to take the information on the Rohingya and post it on your Facebook and share it with people. Also Google Plus if anybody's on there. If you blog, write blog posts. Email your friends, tell them about it. Promote petitions. So many ways. You don't need permission to act. You don't need to contact me and say, can I help? It's great if you do, but you can just help. You can just act, and we need everybody to start acting. A lot of people are saying, who can we donate money to? And this is an ever-changing situation, and it's very difficult because access is so difficult. And right now, off the top of my head, I couldn't say for certain who you could donate money to and be absolutely certain that that money is going to get there. Certainly, I know Partners Relief was there doing brilliant work. I think they're there now. I need to get an update on that, and I hope to give you that information soon. So they are one organisation, and if I find of any others, then I will certainly pass that on. One thing I'm actually looking at is how I can get some funds directly to some of my friends in Burma, because there's such a need, even on the level of helping people, families pay bribes to authorities to get their loved ones out of prison. It's a terrible situation, but they are so desperate for money to live, to survive. So we do need to be looking at how we can get money into the hands of the Rohingya. It's not actually just food they need. Without money, they really, really struggle. A lot of them have to pay bribes to get food, bribe the military or whoever to allow them to go and get something, to shop or go fishing if they dare do that. But we have got some specific projects going on. One of them is a Boycott Burma campaign, and there is a group of people building a list of companies that we can boycott. Another is we are building mailing lists and tweeting lists of politicians and other people that we can contact, and journalists. So if you have time to just put in a few hours, drop me an email at jamilahannan1@gmail.com and just tell me about yourself and what you can do. I'm going to try and formalise this next week and get some forms online that you can fill in and put on what your skills are and tick off what you can do, and then we can get a little bit more structure behind how we work. We are building a crowd map at the moment. It's practically ready to go, but it's for logging atrocities as they occur and categorising them, and then anybody would be able to submit these, and we can have them online for everybody to see. But we need people to administer this and to go through the submitted reports and to log these details. So we need people for that. We're also looking to start a crowd-funded project to send an up-and-coming journalist to Burma to do some on-the-ground reporting. It's an exciting idea. I hope to launch that in a week or two. But there's so many things. If you have skills, professional skills that you can volunteer, then please offer them. And it could be anything from creating media, perhaps video editing, perhaps writing a song, writing a poem. It could be something artistic, but it might be something to do with law, international law. How can we look about holding the Burmese government to account? How can we start collecting evidence and presenting that to the right people and encouraging the right people to act? I know very little about international law, but I know that there's a lot of crime being committed here. Who can I pass this information on to? And who can we pressure to act? How do we get things moving in the United Nations, in Europe, with our politicians? We need expertise. So if you have any professional expertise, insight, skills, whatever, I really want to hear from you. So my email again, it's jamilahanan1@gmail.com. Please, anybody, feel free to write me. I get so much spam anyway that I can deal with all the junk as well. Thanks for listening. And please, let's just try and work together to stop this awful genocide. Thank you.